Sharkast. Sharkast. Sharkast.
Welcome, Inter-American Academy community. This is Dr. Don, your host for Sharkast episode 40. Can you believe it? I would like to thank my 10 followers for being so loyal and listening to the Sharkast faithfully every single week. No, really, I'm pretty blown away that this is the 40th episode. This is something that we started during the pandemic to improve communication when we were virtual for like a year. And we just celebrated as a school a couple of years ago our 40th anniversary. So we have our 40th episode, our 40th anniversary. I would like to think that these Sharkcasts will serve as historical records for the next 40 years from now, when our children look back over time at IAA and our historical pandemic. But alas, I'm a romantic, a past English major, and I'm just here in the nostalgia a little bit, reflecting on what's happened the last couple of years. Pretty incredible, the things that have happened this year. This is actually my second time recording Sharkcast episode 40, because you see, yesterday I recorded it and I spent probably a good 4 minutes talking about how we would come back to school on Monday, the 24th of January, in order to be safe, what kind of mask we're going to wear and all that stuff. And then I found out that we probably shouldn't come back because we could be closed down for the month of February. I don't want that to happen, so I'm really bummed and I'm really sad about it, so I don't really want to talk about it. I just want to say that I understand parents, I understand students, I understand teachers. This is really hard. It's not fun for anybody. It's really frustrating and it's very disappointing, but we are IAA strong. We will get through this. We'll do it. So enough about COVID. Let's share some good news with you. First of all, we have a principal intern this year, and her name is Charisma Brown. You probably have not met her, as she's been joining us virtually from the States all this year during our professional learning and our leadership meetings. She works for AMISA, and recently she got her first passport, and she will be at IAA next week. I know you will welcome her. She'll be here for about a month. She's really awesome. You're going to love her. At the same time, her boss is coming with her. Rhodes is the executive director of AMISA, and he'll be visiting our school next week. Great timing with this pandemic Omicron variant, right? He's going to be on campus, and none of you will be here. But hopefully he can join in some virtual rooms, and he'll be able to tour the campus. And maybe some of you will be coming in for some appointments. I know that some of you have things that you got to take care of, and you might be invited to come on campus to take care of those things, and you can meet Mr. Rhodes. For those of you who are new to my Sharkcast and wondering what AMISA is, let me remind you, we used to be part of an organization that was called ASA. You probably remember ASA from the tournaments that we had for sports. Well, now ASA is AMISA, and AMISA stands for American International Schools in the Americas. Schools like Cotopaxi, Americano in Quito, Menor in Quito, these are all member schools of AMISA, like ourselves. That's why our sports tournaments were named after the association. AMISA also provides professional learning for our teachers, payroll services, shipment of our container with learning materials, and even most recently, our Zoom licenses. More importantly, AMISA is a support system for all of its member schools. We get together every week as directors of those schools so that we can make better decisions as a whole for our students. So Derek and Charisma, welcome to IAA. We're so glad that you're coming, and we hope that we get to know you while you're here. All right, that's the news. So what is episode 40 really about? Are there any guests? Well, there's going to be many guests, because this is the commemorative episode where we can flash back to all the various episodes that we've experienced over the past couple of years, or a year and a half actually. It started November 13th, 2020 with Sharkcast number 1, which was the Alanis Ayala family. All right, so let's take a listen in. So the Alanis Ayala family is our first Sharkcast family feature. And so we're going to start with Dad, Sergio, today. And Sergio, can you tell me a little bit about yourself and your family and what got you to IAA?
Well, thank you. We're very honored to be the first guest in this new Sharkast. It's a privilege for us. Thank you, Dr. Don. Well, we are Mexicans. We moved to Ecuador about 40 years ago.
I'm 10 years old. I like video games. I like soccer. And I'm friendly.
We want friendly people at IAA. That's like one of the things we look for in our admissions criteria. Okay, so that was episode 1, and of course we know this family. They're wonderful. We love them to death. I am actually on our website right now, so if you want to follow along with me, you can go ahead and go to the website. If you go to Inter-American Academy's website and you go to resources, and you drop down on the menu to Sharkast, then you'll see all the Sharkcasts. So that was number 1. And then in Sharkcast number 2, we had a theme of Thanksgiving celebrations. Let's listen in.
You got the net to join my class. Now go and restart your Wi-Fi. Don't worry, we'll be happy. When you're worried, your face will frown, and that will bring everybody down. So don't worry, be happy.
And my purpose is not to make them homesick around Thanksgiving, is to just have them share their Thanksgiving with the IAA communities so you can learn a little bit more about them and how important Thanksgiving is to us Americans. We're going to start out with a great question, which is, what is your favorite Thanksgiving Day tradition? And our teacher, Miss Sanborn from High School English, will be answering that question.
We raised our family together in Northwest Florida with 5 other immediate families. So there was, like, when we got together for Thanksgiving, there would be 20, 30, 35 people at a time. After we all stuffed ourselves, we got together in the yard, a big yard, and had family Olympics. And it didn't matter what age you were. You could have been a toddler, 2 years old. You could have been a mother in the arms. You could have been 80 years old, and everybody did all the Olympics. We would put eggs on a spoon and run the relays. We would try to walk in pairs with balloons.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Episode 2 was a really fun episode, listening to all the teachers talk about their Thanksgiving traditions. So check it out if you didn't get a chance to listen to it the first. Episodes 3 and 4 and actually it says 3, 4, 5, and 6. We introduced the new families, the Gomez Escobar family, the Pinkston family. We also had the student leaders, Kate Yao from NHS and Ignacio Perez McCollum from Stuco, who spoke to us. We had a Sharkcast where we listened to the alumni from the class of 2020, Salomon Larea, Kaden Velasquez, and Emilio Ramirez were the students that came on to that Sharkcast. And we had a Sharkcast with our athletic director, a true shark, Mr. Domingo, and Susan Williams, our new head of student support at the time. So let's listen in to a few of those.
I love the name.
I know, right? It's perfect, Sharkcast. But I'm an amateur. I was inspired by Ignacio. He said he was going to start a podcast, and I said, well,
I am.
I'm going to start a podcast before.
Really, I was also thinking this year, it sounds so fun to do a podcast with my friends. That is so cool how we all thought about it, but hopefully it doesn't, last like 2 or 3 more years,
Right. No, you make good points.
Hope is a strong tool right now.
Yes.
Definitely, I agree. The hardest part was starting the year, and honestly, for me, it was like the first couple of weeks or even 1 month through the pandemic. I was not doing anything productive, just sleeping, eating, and maybe playing video games.
Others. That's interesting because there are something called 21st century learning skills, which are like communication, collaboration, teamwork, that type of thing. And I think a lot of students that maybe graduate from different schools and go to university, they're not very good at communicating with their professors. So if they don't understand something, they're intimidated, or they're like, I can't talk to them, or I can't send them an email because they've got 120 students. Do you guys go through that? Or
Sending emails. It's the overall writing skills. I noticed IA gave me some very good writing skills. I learned the teachers I remember one of the courses I took on my senior year was AP writing composition. Covered a lot of things, and I can even connect when I write my emails to teachers, even if it's in Spanish. It's just structure-wise. It's what I learned in that course.
Yeah, those are just crazy people. Those are crazy people.
Hey, crazy people. How do you do that? A full Ironman by yourself? That is crazy.
Well, I didn't really do it the first time I tried. I didn't succeed, but 3 weeks later I did. So
you did.
Ray, since I've been here, you've been super supportive. I remember I did a half Ironman. I think my first year here. You and Sylvia were at the school. And you had a medal. You had a medal for me at the finish line. You made a medal for me and gave me a medal, and that's my most treasured medal out of all the medals that I have. I mean, that one is the one that I really treasure. So thank you. And I think that I'm just a guy coming to the school for a couple of years, but I think in the 30 years, everyone that you've come across, they've felt the same way I feel. That you've welcomed them, you've encouraged them, you've cheered for them. You're like a cheerleader, You just want everyone to get better and to improve themselves. And so you're really very encouraging and super positive, and I think that's what your legacy is.
Thank you. That means a lot to me. Thank you.
You're welcome. So the last thing, since I know you're a big Shark, is tell us about how we became the Sharks and what we were before the Sharks, because I know you know the history of this better than anyone.
Yeah, so this goes way back. We had these our PE shirts, they had turtles on them, and turtles are pretty cool, I guess. The Galapagos turtles, and they're slow, and we needed to be a little bit more. We were already a small school playing in a big league, and we needed a different image. We couldn't be the turtles, so we put it out there and put a few mascots out there and had the school vote, and Sharks was one of the ones that the school voted for and got the most votes, and ever since, thank goodness, we didn't have to be the turtles anymore, and we're a little more aggressive in the in our image of.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool Sharkcast with Mr. Domingo. Make sure you check that one out. That was podcast number 7. So we then had a series of Sharkcasts through number 10 that were historical, where we were able to interview different directors from the school and then people that had been at the school for a lot of years. So that kind of started with Mr. Domingo, and with his 30 plus years at the school, we learned a lot of history. We learned from Miss Doylette and Mr. Matute also. What was really cool is Sharkcast number 9 is actually a blast from the past. It's a 1997 IAA promotional video. So if you want to look at all those cool 90s hairdos, check that one out. And then podcast number 10, Sharkcast number 10, had a couple of previous directors at Inter-American Academy. And then we went into some other episodes of Sharkcast. I'll just list some of the titles: finishing our ultra marathon, introducing a new family, the Mueller family, great family. Stefan is now on the school board. We love having them here. It's hard to believe that these families have not been here for like a decade, because I think the year of virtual really makes us feel like it's been a decade. And then we had some podcasts, some Sharkcasts: Shark Returns, Shark Attack, Tips to Help Our Mental Health. Those were all Sharkcasts as we were starting to get ready to come back to school. That was our hope. And then shortly thereafter, we got back into school. So we went over the protocols and coming back. So those are pretty historical. Sharkcast number 17 is really cool. We had a family, the Brooks family at Inter-American Academy, And so Mr. Brooks, Kerry Brooks, he started a foundation called Autism to Awesome. And so that Sharkast is an interview with him. Really cool. Let's just take a quick listen.
Other parents, they come and they will say, my child is on the spectrum. My child has autism. I say, and I've been in the autism community now for over 20 years. And I go, well, what do you mean? Because I want to know about the individual. I don't want to know about, the generalization of the group. Tell me about this individual, because that's who I really want to get to know, because I've had the opportunity in the past to coach basketball with kids that were on the spectrum. They did have autism. I go, well, tell me about the individual. What do they like? What don't they like? And everything. But I also do this for every kid, because I want to know the individual, because nobody is the same, just like you put it. No one is the same, whether they're on the spectrum or they're not on the spectrum. I want to get to know that individual and see how can I go about best helping them.
Yeah, Kerry Brooks is pretty awesome. We missed the Brooks family at IAA. We miss all of our families that have left us, and they miss IAA also. Pretty cool. Also, you noticed that was around the time we started adding the background music, which, by the way, is all composed by Inter-American Academy students. Pretty cool. Moving on to some of the other Sharkcasts. We had some cool Sharkcasts. Let me read some of the titles to you, starting with Sharkcast number 18. We had the Inter-American class of 2021, where they talked about where they're going to go to university. Pretty exciting. They went to some pretty awesome universities, and they're there right now. We have Sharkcast number 19, some persuasive sixth graders talking about some things that we should focus on as a community. Pretty cool. Teacher Appreciation Week was the next Sharkcast, and then we had a General Assembly Sharkcast. Time to Unplug was Sharkcast 22. So that one, make a note of that, parents. That was the one with tips from Miss O'Leary about getting set up so that we're not plugged into those devices all the time. Microsoft Family has been a great resource for my family that we started using after that Sharkcast. Pretty cool. Sharkcast 23 was a welcome to the 21-22 school year. So now we're getting to this school year with the Sharkcast, and that was pretty awesome. We started the school year right off the bat, first day of school, in person, and we were in school until 2022. And then you know what's going on. We're virtual, but we'll be back strong in February. We had episode 24 was about Unified Against COVID. 25 is where you learned about our partnerships with AMISA and with Young Living Academy. Pretty cool episode too, if you're not familiar with those things. We had a Teacher Learning Day on number 26. That was inside a Teacher Learning Day. A lot of these are vodcasts, so they have video. And that one in particular had video of the teachers singing silly songs for one of the activities. So if you students out there want something to incriminate your teachers or to get a good snicker out of them, then just bring up that Sharkcast in class and see if you can put it on the big screen so that everybody can enjoy it together. Sharkcast 27 talked about master facilities planning. We put that on hold during the pandemic, but we've revived that, and we have a master facilities committee for the board that's currently working on plans to build a new secondary building and to also make our campus a universally accessible campus. So we have blueprints and architectural drawings of taking out staircases, making gradual ramps, putting in elevators, connecting buildings G and A and B with a second walkway that's connected to an elevator, an upstairs walkway. So we have some really cool plans, a new ramp for gate 2 so that it can be more accessible for wheelchairs, or we have lots of students that get injured and are on crutches. You know the stairs on campus are pretty bad. So that episode talks all about those plans. Then we got into AP courses, Stuco, getting back to normal, and episode 31, National Distinguished Principal of the Year, our very own Mrs. K. She's awesome, and we're so happy that she's still with us, and she'll be with us the whole year. And we're just excited that she's got to stick around a lot longer than she thought she would get to stick around, and that she's a huge part of our family. Sharkcast 32. We have decades of accreditation, joining the IA family, connected for life. And and that's a pretty important one. Then we have Cheryl Johnson, our board chair, for 33. Another Thanksgiving for 34, Sharkcast. And then 35, instructional coaches. 36, about community safety. 37, about happy holidays. And 38 was really cool. That was right before the break. The French class put together a TV French newscast. Very, very cool. If you don't know French, that's okay. You can still watch it because they use a lot of hand expressions and videos and visuals to help us out. And then last week, Sharkcast 39 was setting your goals for 2022. So just let y'all know that helped me going through those Sharkcasts to kind of flash back to some of the things that we've gone through as a community and to show us how strong we are. We really are IAA strong. I'm going to finish the Sharkcast with some of the things that we heard at the very end of Sharkcast in the past, which is that strong Go Shark. Sharks from our leadership team.
Go Sharks!
Go Sharks! Go Sharks!
Go Sharks!
Go Sharks!
IAA Sharkast.